We don't have any representatives from the police or the licensing authority or any other body here, do we, Rita?
No, the licensing enforcement officer, as I said, has agreed conditions are attached to the pack, which are Appendix D.
Right. Right, okay. I'm now going to ask for the applicant to make their submission. And if they state the name and address and give the reasons for their application, may I also remind you, we only speak for a total of 5 minutes overall. So I presume, Mr. Domio, that it's you that's speaking on behalf.
That's the plan, Chair. Yes, Josh
Okay.
and Manira may add anything on if I've missed something, but I'll start proceedings.
Right, we've got 5 minutes.
Okay, thank you. I don't know whether you've been to the premises, councillors, but it is now a stylish bar and restaurant with music entertainment provided on occasions, and a quality food menu offering Nepalese dishes. Manira is from Kathmandu, hence the name KTM. I've tried the food myself, councillors. It is it's very nice. I'm also not aware of anywhere close with the same or similar offering. It's evident from the 9 representations in support of the variation from local residents and customers that the premises is now a valuable asset to the community and a great venue for family and friends to come and enjoy. And Manira and Josh have completely transformed the premises around to its current form, to KTM Rock, from when it was used to trade as the Red Lion. So Manira and Josh took on the site in June 2017, I believe. And as I'm sure you can all agree, councillors, all premises need to evolve and adapt to keep up with changing consumer needs. Our variation is being applied for precisely those reasons. It is to allow Josh and Manira slightly more flexibility around trading whilst continuing to promote the licence objectives. As you've heard, our proposal for extending the terminal hour for live and recorded music is to go to midnight, is to allow for flexibility. There are already existing conditions on the licence which require regular boundary noise checks to be conducted and the findings to be recorded and for all external doors and windows to be kept closed. It is also worth noting, councillors, that the premise licence already permits the sale of alcohol and late night refreshment daily until midnight. We are therefore not applying for the premises to continue carrying out licensable activities any later than is currently permitted on the premises licence. I can confirm, councillors, that from speaking with Josh and Manira, they have advised that there is nothing to be operationally changed with the music offering. The proposed midnight extension would only be used on the odd occasion, and in particular when Manira and Josh have applied for tenders for music to be extended beyond their current permitted timings. At present, with the 10, they would need to use up 2 days of their yearly allowance. So one day to cover them from 11:30 until midnight, and then another day to cover them from midnight until the end time in the early hours. Manira and Josh have been using tens to extend their permitted times for music on a basis of 1 per month, and the extension from 23:30 to midnight on the licence is to allow flexibility. We're seeking, as you've heard, to also extend the opening hours daily from 20 past midnight to half past midnight, just a 10-minute extension. This would allow Josh and Manira a 30-minute period from the end of licensable activities to closing to aid with a more gradual dispersal of customers. And I would advise councillors that a 30-minute closure period is pretty much the norm on most premise licences. We are also seeking to extend the time of use of the external area to permit customers to be able to use this to consume food and drink until 11 p.m. I would advise council that the use of the external area is obviously weather dependent. You will also note, councillors, that under the wording of the current condition, there is no limit on the number of smokers permitted on the external area up until 11 o'clock. Now, we appreciate that the majority of smokers will have their cigarette or vape and return inside, and people drinking and dining outside after 10 o'clock will stay out there for longer. But there is no reason why this cannot continue to be controlled and managed as it is at the minute by Manira, Josh and their staff. And you will have seen from the 9 representations in support, which include residents directly in front of and beside KTM Rocks, that they wish for the external area to be used slightly later. The majority of the customers of KTM Rocks are Indian and Nepalese, and it is extremely normal for them to eat later than, say, 8 p.m. The 11 p.m. proposal would allow some slight flexibility around trading. Under the 10 p.m. current restriction, Munira and Josh have to close the kitchen earlier than they would wish to, and they have to ensure customers are finishing their meals up in time. And Munira and Josh have both advised that at present, on occasions, they've had to transport effectively customers' food and cutlery from outdoors to inside to see if they can find a free table for customers to finish off their meal. And KTM Rocks operates primarily as a restaurant, and so the proposed 11 p.m. for use of the outside area would allow some slight flexibility. As you've heard, our application is also seeking to remove the condition around the requirement for the quarterly residents meetings. This condition, along with the majority of the existing conditions, were added to the premise licence in December 2018. We consulted with authorities at that time, and it was felt that the condition of the licence at that point were more akin to how the premises traded as the Red Lion, so they needed to be updated. But as we're all aware, councillors, the conditions on a licence, they need to be proportionate, they need to be justifiable, and they must be tailored to the individual type, location and characteristics of the premises. That's contained in the section 182 guidance. So I submit, councillors, that this existing condition is no longer required and therefore not appropriate to remain on the premise licence. And as you will have seen from the 9 representation in support, both Josh and Munira are approachable. If there were to be an issue at KTM Rocks, not that I'm saying they will, then both Josh and Munira would welcome the local residents to approach them at any time. I'm also aware that Mr. Steaky does have Munira and Josh's contact details. I submit, councillors, that this is a very sensible and considered application. All the proposals are for slight changes to be made to the premises to allow for, and I keep saying it, some flexibility for Josh and Munira to trade. Furthermore, councillors, none of the responsible authorities, including environmental health or the police, have objected, which is a very important consideration for you when arriving at your decision today. These authorities are the experts in their field, and they on a daily basis deal with licensed premises, and their overriding consideration at all times are to the licensing objectives. The Licensing Act, it is a permissive piece of legislation, and it allows the premise licence, allows the operator, in this case Munira and Josh, to decide to utilise their permissions or not. My clients, Munira and Josh, are a responsible and considerate operator. They have invested a substantial amount of money into the premises and specifically the outside area to make it inviting for customers. They want KTM Rocks to remain an asset to the local area and for it to provide amenities for families to enjoy. They have removed the stigma of when the premises traded as the Red Lion, and I submit, council, that the granting of this application for these slight changes to the premise licence will allow the premises to continue to flourish. And for these reasons, councillors, I would ask you to grant the application as it appears before you today. How am I doing for time?
I'm not timing it. My timer has not objected, so you should be inside, I guess. She's very strict normally. You would have been slapped across the wrist if you had exceeded it.
Yeah, thank you, Jeff. Right. I just don't know whether there's anything Josh and Munira want to add on to that.
Okay, I will take that. Yes. Anything you wish to add?
So this is from Josh. The only thing from me is that I think it's really important to bear in mind that we are looking to make these changes, specifically the extension of the music hour, not for operational value necessarily, only to help us out with that using, I'm repeating what George said, but only to help us out with using 110 instead of 2, because they are extremely valuable to us. Operationally, on a regular week-to-week basis, we'll be stopping the live music and we'll be allowing customers to exit at exactly the same time that we do now. So we aren't going to be playing live music any later than we do now, apart from the occasions where we use the 10. That's more or less it from me. The only other thing again would be that the use of the outside area has been inspected thoroughly by environmental health. We've had regular contact with the licensing authorities over the last year. I've had 2 or 3 visits, and every time we've had contacts, and we have great communication. Munira and I are always open to discussing things, but everyone has always been satisfied with the way that we're managing the premise currently. And for me, these authorities, the police, environmental health, and the licensing officers that know how we operate at 10 p.m, they've agreed to the extension to 11 p.m. They know how we manage the garden during that time. This isn't a rowdy bar outside. It's people enjoying a restaurant experience outdoors. Just to clarify that from me.
Okay. Questions from Medea first. Do you have any questions, Medea?
Thank you, Chair. Just briefly wanted to find out, the customers who are seated outside, will they also have access to the live or recorded music, or is that completely for people who are sitting inside the venue and dining?
We don't have any live music outdoors. Last summer, because straight after COVID, we could only use the outdoor area. We did have some live music performances outside.
But only till 9 o'clock.
We finished at 9 o'clock because we thought that was reasonable. We still, well, not us directly, but the licensing officers received some complaints. They came to speak to us about it, and we agreed that it was towards the end of the summer anyway. We agreed to move the music back inside as soon as we could. We didn't want to create any disturbance. Like George said earlier, the complainants do have direct access to my phone number. So any time where music it could be heard previously, they could have called me. They chose not to. Pertaining specifically to your question, there is no live music outside. We made the management decision not to do that. There is background music played outside. This has been heard checked a number of times by noise pollution, and it has been deemed to be absolutely within adequate levels.
Well, thank you for clarifying.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah,
that's all from me, Chair.
Okay. Councillor Giles, do you have any questions?
Of course I do.
I thought you would.
I always have questions. No, I just want to make sure that this is as clear as possible. So just going back to the music a little bit, is it amplified or is it acoustic and recorded?
The music that we play outdoors.
Well, just generally, whether indoors or outdoors.
Indoors, we have a stage. We have live music every Friday and Saturday.
Yeah.
So that's amplified.
But like the musicians, it's not just acoustic. They'll have amps.
No, it comes to, we have a PA system. So,
yeah.
No.
Yeah.
But we did put in secondary glazing. Invest a lot in that, so that the noise, doesn't travel outside.
We insulated that as much as possible with, like Manira says, a lot of money spent on secondary glazing last summer.
Yeah.
Again, we were working very closely with Ian from Environmental Health, and that those sound levels were checked regularly last summer. There's also been again something else that's been checked by the licensing.
That actually leads on really well into my next question, because obviously you've done a lot of work to soundproof the interiors. Just understanding, I would like to understand, like, looking at your premises, there's not a huge amount of leaf cover and it's quite an open space where noise can carry. So I just wanted to know what, sorry, can I just finish? Apologies, I didn't hear your answer and I hadn't finished my question, so I just want to make sure we're on the right page. Sorry. What has been done to reduce any or minimize any outside noise? Obviously, a lot of that can be conversational rather than music. So I just wanted to know what you guys have done at the moment to minimize that.
At the moment, obviously, it's only, we have background music, but pertaining to the what you say, just the general noise that comes off of having people outside in the restaurant, it sounds it sounds almost casual, but if you spoke to any of our customers, regular customers, everyone's well aware. Our management team, ourselves and our staff, we have notice boards everywhere that's visible in the garden, asking people to be quiet and respect the neighbours. We ourselves will remind customers to keep the noise at a reasonable level at regular intervals. And then on busier nights, we always employ security guards, one of them who is constantly posted in the garden, and part of his brief, a part of his or her brief, is to remind any customers that might be raising their voices that there's neighbours to be aware of, and to keep the noise in check. So we do everything we possibly can to make sure that everyone's aware of the environment as it is.
No, I'm just conscious that obviously having 2 people talking in a garden is very different to having 50 people talking in a garden. There's very little that you can do to minimise that, but understanding how that outdoor space is managed.
The only other thing I'd say that we've done is this summer we invested significantly in individual domes that wrap around some of the tables, which create a secluded space. So that does also help with minimizing the noise that would come off a table. It's still an outdoor space, but it is something of a make weight in between. Yeah.
And then how do you I've written something here. How do you plan to monitor the number of smokers, and how do you manage that like obviously at the moment there's nothing, but looking at what your future plans are, how do you expect to manage the number of smokers outside?
We already have a system in place. We don't just let them go. Once they're finished, we ask them to go and inside and not hang around. So we do checks at the moment as well.
I think the plan going forward, what we've proposed and what's been accepted by the licensing officers, is that we'll keep the 10 people smoking outside after 11 o'clock. And the way that that's monitored is by one of the senior staff or the management is,
or the security guards.
more often than not, the security guards will be in the smoking area continuously relaying back to whoever's monitoring the door how many people are outside, and we run a 1 in 1 out system after 11 o'clock.
Okay, so just to manage, just so I've got this straight in my head, it's everybody's out in the back garden smoking.
But we close entry to the back garden after 11 o'clock at the moment, and that's something we'll continue to do. So we don't allow anyone in the garden after 11 o'clock. It's only a fire escape after that point. This is us recognizing that, after 11 o'clock, we want to minimize, or we think that's a reasonable time that, really the flat's behind. We don't want to disturb anyone. So we could let people in the garden to smoke and people still want to go there. Instead, we direct people to a portion of the car park that we section off after 11 o'clock for smokers. So we don't allow access to the rear whatsoever. We send everyone that wants to smoke to the front, and then we run a 1 in 1 out system up to 10 people smoking. Yeah,
sorry, thank you very much for that.
No problem.
Right, so I've got 3-4 questions left. So obviously one of the conditions, or one of the conditions that you would like to remove, is this quarterly residential meeting. How many have taken place since it? And did you take over the license in 2018? Or it was added in 2018?
It was added. So I think COVID kind of made a little bit of a mess of trying to organise them, and I spoke to the licensing officers after, when we reopened after COVID, and we agreed it'd be a difficult one to go forward with. I can't remember if it was 2 or 3 that took place. I've obviously got the notes in the calendar. They were, like I say, the residents that were making complaints, they had access to our numbers, but they were extremely reluctant to speak to us directly. So the people that ended up coming to the meetings, when we put up a notice in the pub on what date it was going to happen, would be customers effectively, you know,
Supporting
that
us.
were in support of the place anyway. These meetings lasted about a minute each time because no one had anything to say.
And again, just leading on from that, so notification only went up in the pub. There was no like communication or email sent to
I
local
don't
residents.
have email addresses for, you know,
Okay.
the several hundred people that live
we
in
have
the
sent it
immediate
to-
vicinity.
We have sent it to Siddiqui though.
It was the first one that went out, went to Mr. Siddiqui, and there was no response.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm just making some notes, and I've got
No
a
problem.
few more
Yeah,
questions. So,
sure.
what is your current CCTV setup?
What is it? Well, we have 13 cameras set up around the building with I think it's
30 days recording on there.
yeah. So we store the footage for 30 days. Myself, Manira, one of our management staff are allowed to download footage from that. We
And
have
so
access to it remotely.
You said those 13 cameras around the building.
Yeah.
Are they kind of all indoors or all outdoors, or is it a combination?
We have
Indoors and
we have
outdoors.
indoors and outdoors. Yeah.
Okay. And so the licensing body, so there's been in Appendix D a couple of additional conditions that have been highlighted by the licensing authority, by us.
Yeah.
Have you seen them, and do you accept them all
Well,
with the proposed conditions?
I don't know if have we seen.
I think
There's
George-
21 potential new conditions that have been proposed by the local authority.
George, is that?
If I may, the proposed conditions. I'm off mute, aren't I? The proposed conditions are the existing conditions plus T1, which is our new proposed condition.
So these would be the revised ones.
Yes, yeah, effectively. But yeah, so number 1 to 20 are already on the premise license. We're asking for 21 to go on, and then those two conditions contain within the variation around the quarterly residents meeting and no use that there to come off. So yeah, so if you were minded to grant the variation or grant the conditions, 1 to 21 would be imposed on the license. So yes, they're like I said, 1 to 20 are already in place, and 21 is what we are seeking.
Okay, no, thank you for that clarification. I just wanted to make sure that
That's what was agreed with the licensing officers, Charlie. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Cool.
No, I just want to make sure that we're all on the same page and we don't go away and make a decision that doesn't reflect things that you may have already or not seen.
No, fully understand, Councillor. Thank you.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Yeah, so your boundary checks with the borough, how many of these have taken place since well, I guess in the last year, really?
Boundary checks, we complete every single night we have live music.
Okay.
Yeah, we
so it's not necessarily looking at the kind of crowd noise, but it's more about the music with those boundary checks.
Well, it's everything. So it's you know, it'll be inside and out. So the primary, initially the reason they went on is the initial dialectic, the initial discussion was about the levels of the music that we played. So the reason those checks went in was to try and check the levels of the music.
Okay.
But you know, obviously included in that and going on our constant communication with Ian and with the licensing officers, we've extended that to crowd controls and making sure that, you know, I will, you know, myself or Manira, that it's myself that completes the boundary checks most often, and we'll literally go between the building to the rear and our perimeter boundary and listen out for, you know, anything that I can hear. There's the occasional, it doesn't happen very often, but there's the occasional note in the calendar where at 10:30 I've knocked the music down a couple of notches or something like that off my own accord. But the vast majority of the time, any noise, particularly to the rear of the garden, where the representations are coming from, is completely imperceptible. And again, that's ratified by the fact that the exact same checks are completed and have been completed a number of times by environmental health, having found everything to be satisfactory. But yeah, again, pertaining specifically to your question, the boundary checks are within and then on the edge of the perimeter of the premise, and checking for any kind of noise or disturbance.
And then just one note that I picked up from George's presentation. So what time does your kitchen currently close? Because you were talking about having to relocate people from outdoors to indoors.
Yeah, so the kitchen currently, so during the week, just as a caveat, during the week, this isn't so much of an issue. During the week, we close the kitchen at 9:30 all round. It's still a bit of a problem. We still, people want to stay later in the garden, but during the week we very often have space to move them into if that becomes the case. On the weekends, the kitchen, actually, the last order is 10 o'clock, but we take the last order in the garden at 9:15. So our decision, the way that we manage this situation, this license being imposed on a condition being imposed, is by taking the last order for everyone outside at 9:15, in order to do our very best to get everything out to them and give them time to finish their food
before the garden closes.
Due to the volume of orders, due to how popular a restaurant, not to sound the wrong way, but
the more patrons you have, the more work you have to do and get it out in timing.
It can be extremely difficult, and especially on the weekend, people, will be outside. It's hard to get the food out to them on time. Very often the restaurants fall inside. It creates an extremely difficult situation to try and relocate people inside, and even to try and explain to them, why it is that we're having to do what we do. You can imagine, I think some of the customers mentioned it in the letters they wrote in. It can be confusing and strange when you're in the middle of a meal at 9:30, because we start warning people from about 9:30 that they're going to have to move inside at 10 o'clock. It creates a difficult, and I don't want to say distressing, might seem a bit too strong, but if you're in the middle of a meal with your family and you're told that you've got this pressure to finish your food in 15 minutes, or you're going to have to stand up inside and eat standing up or something like that.
It doesn't create a good customer experience.
No, and so therefore you're not proposing to make any changing of change. Sorry, you're not proposing to change times to your kitchen operation hours.
No, not at all. We just want to give people the opportunity to eat within the existing hours. We're not, like I said, the actual operational value of these license changes is extremely low. So we're not planning on utilizing the extension to the live music. We only want that so that we don't have to use 2 tents instead of 1. We're not planning on keeping the kitchen open any later. We just want to have the flexibility to use the current hours that we have in a sensible and pleasing and comfortable manner for everyone.
How seasonal are your outdoor diners?
We're obviously more busy in the summer due to the nature of the garden, but if I don't know if you've seen any pictures of the amount of investment, the amount of work that's gone into that garden. It's now, again, I don't want this to come across the wrong way, but the eating out in the KTM Rocks garden is now one of the destination dinners in Feltham. We're extremely popular. We're commonly regarded as one of the best places to go and eat in the area, and specifically the garden. So that one of the reasons we put those domes in is that they are weatherproof. People will be able to use the garden in the winter. There's only 6 of those domes, so the rest of the tables will still be susceptible to the weather and obviously the cold. It's you know, the sensible answer is it's likely you'll see best part of a 50% reduction in the use of the garden throughout the winter, but it's not entirely summer based.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I think that's it from me. I think I've covered most of my concerns at the moment. Richard, up to you, Councillor Foote. Sorry.
Right, fine, okay. Yes, Josh Manera. Tens. I see that you're talking about making an adjustment which would double the number of tens that you use in a year. What time do you close, and what are your opening hours, and what activities do you do when you're operating a tens license?
Yeah, so we make very little change. So we still keep, the first thing to say is we still keep to the all of the conditions that pertain to noise control. We keep them exactly the same. So we still we close the garden at 10 o'clock even when we have a 10 for the food and drink. We still keep it to 10 people smoking after 11 o'clock. All we do is extend the music until midnight. So regularly the music will be finished at 11:15. Like I say, the license is until 11:30. We think the reasonable and sensible time to finish is 11:15. So that's what we do every week. When we have the tens once a month, we continue the music until midnight, at which point we finish the music. The last order is served at 12:15. So it's not that much later. We still close the bar at 12:15, maybe 12:20. And then we have a slow dispersal up to 1 a.m. So we aim for everyone to be out the door by 1 a.m. We apply for the 10 until 2 a.m. just to give ourselves the flexibility, but we aim to have everyone out and dispersed by 1 a.m. And we work with the security to make sure that happens as quietly and quickly as possible.
And you're seeking to double that?
Councillor, if I may, we're not seeking to double tens. The proposal is, at the minute, if Josh and Manera want to have a 10 for live music from 11:30 at night on a Friday until 2 a.m. on the Saturday morning, they would need to use up 2 days of their annual tens allowance. So they would need to have. Pardon?
So yeah, I understand that, and I'm just trying to understand if that's what was intended to do that.
Yeah, but it's not to double. You only get this year and next. You only get 20 tens covering a total 26 days. So it's to, like I said, they will leave. They will have the 11:30 till midnight to have the flexibility, and then they will have the 110 for if they go into, as Josh said, to 2 o'clock.
Councillor Frost, do you mind me asking, is the question you're asking, are we looking to double the amount of tens that we use?
Yes.
Yeah,
I got that impression is what I got the impression.
No, we're not. We wouldn't plan on doing that more regularly than the once a month that we currently do. But we think it's fair that we would at least have the option where necessary or if required that we could use those tens as intended to have events held if we have other events throughout the year. At the moment, we don't have that flexibility because we have to use 2 tens for every one event. So we just can't, the possibility isn't there to have any extra events.
No, but it is also that everyone else will get those 20, tens as a possibility, whereas we're limited to 10 because of just this half an hour that seems to be a technicality in the licensing. I don't know if you've understood.
I've understood, yeah. I'm not sure that yeah, all right, okay. No, I understand. Right, so
sorry, can I answer, Councillor Frost?
Yeah.
Can I just add on one more thing, just to there isn't any operational value for us to go until midnight with live music. So we're saying that we're still going to keep that the same and finish at 11:15. But just to clarify that, there wouldn't be, on a regular Friday or Saturday night, there would be no going any later with the live music would simply ruin our dispersal, make it extremely difficult to disperse a crowd effectively. So we wouldn't be using that time regularly other than when we have the tens, because as a management decision, it would be too difficult for us to effectively disperse a crowd if we did play music until midnight. So we wouldn't attempt to do that without the 10 there. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Can I ask you? I mean, you've heard the recordings. I think you've seen the recordings made by your neighbours.
We've not seen
not the background noise or the noise that they've recorded from their upstairs rooms. You've seen those?
No, we haven't. We didn't get sent those.
You didn't get them. Is that right? I thought that was in part of the package. No?
Sorry, Councillor, it's Rita Pancania. George, they were sent to your office. There were videos from Mr. Sadiq.
Posted or?
No. There were video clips attached to Mr. Sadiq's representation. And they were sent.
All I've got is the emails. 5th of September.
Yeah,
5th
there were
of September.
attachments to it. I forward the whole email to your office.
Yeah, no, I'm not doubting that, Ria. I'm sure you have. We'll have to go back and try and find them.
This is quite critical because obviously this is what the whole argument is around, is the amount of noise that's being generated in the back garden. And these were recordings that were taken from the bedrooms and the upper rooms of the local residents.
When that recording is.
Okay. Sorry?
So I was saying it would depend on when the recordings are from. If it's during the live music, that we did till 9 p.m, then I mean, they probably would hear a bit more, but
it's not so much live music. I have to say that the majority of the music is the noise coming from your customers.
When are the videos dated?
When were they dated? I don't know off the top of my head. We received them on the 13th.
I can answer that question. There's a variety of them over the summer months.
This summer?
Yeah.
Okay. As I say, I haven't had any visibility to them. What I can say is that we have had regular meetings with licensing officers. I've also had contact with environmental health who have been to check the way that things operate, and we've had absolutely nothing but
because the licensing officers have listened to his Mr. Siddiqui's complaints and come to us, and they were accusations of being people in the garden till later, and they've come and verified it. They've looked at our CCTV footage and they've gone back satisfied, and they have not taken any actions against us.
So which CCTV footage? Your CCTV footage?
Yeah.
Not
No, licensing officers have been and reviewed our CCTV footage. The only other thing I would say, without seeing the video clips, is that, of course, everything has to be taken into context, and occasionally there will be a spike in noise. There's nothing you can do about that. We're a venue offering live music, selling alcohol. It's not people sat around with fingers on lips. There will be a spike in noise, but within that context is also the way that we manage that is if this ever happens, we jump on it almost straight away. It's very rare that there would be any prolonged incident of excessive noise in the garden after the hours that the garden's in use. Without seeing the videos, it's difficult to comment any further, but I think out of context, these things can seem the way they are. But again, I'd back that up by saying we have had no objections from the police. We have very good relations with our representatives from the police that come to us. we have like a 0 incident record with the police. We're not harbouring, you know, rowdy, raucous behaviours.
Can I come back to that? Because
yeah,
I'm presuming if you didn't see the videos, you wouldn't have seen
Yeah.
the video of the fight taking place on your car park between youths.
when was that?
Quite a vicious fight between about a dozen youths.
Councillor Foote, I
Sorry.
don't know whether that was in the car park, and seeing as we haven't spoken about it, are we allowed to speak about
I'm asking if
that
if
situation?
you've
I don't know.
Right.
can you give us some
Gabriella,
advice?
please let me finish
said,
my question.
you know, sorry, Councillor Foote, I said we have an almost 0% record with the police, and we've had no objections from them. That there have been, over the 5 years that we've been open, there have been a couple of incidents, as I think is the same with almost all licensed venues, but the vast majority, extremely high percentage of the time at the venue, we've had, like I say, almost 0 incidents of note.
Okay, sorry, it's Rita Pancani again. George, I sent them to Nikki on the 16th of August, 3 emails. Sorry, you're on mute.
Thanks, Rita. It's hard. I can't comment on the videos because I've not seen them, and neither Josh and Manira have. So I don't know how you wish to proceed with
Well,
it at this point.
I did send them to
No,
your
no,
office because she was
I
the
understand
contact
that.
at that point. Yeah.
Yes.
This is what makes it difficult. If they've been sent to you but not viewed,
Chair, can
I can't comment on them. Now that makes it a bit ridiculous.
I don't know whether, Chair, and I'm open to suggestions here, whether we could possibly pause the hearing for 20 minutes for us to or 20 minutes or however long we see, or somebody sees fit, for us to try and locate these CCTV or videos so we can view them, and then we'll be able to discuss them with you. Would that be an option?
I can send them to you now, but it's the
Hang
chair's
on
decision.
a minute. Kaneetz, you were trying to get in on there.
Yes, I was. First of all, if the videos were circulated to your representative, and I'm addressing this point to Joshua and Manira, then obviously it was down to your representatives to actually go through them with you. Now, if you haven't had the opportunity to go through them, the panel can make a decision whether to allow a short adjournment for you to look at those videos now. Ideally, this shouldn't be happening because it is open to the panel to take the videos into account because they are evidence, and the evidence was circulated before today's hearing, so it's not as if it's to take you by surprise. It was circulated long before today's hearing. But Chair, it's really up to you whether you wish to exercise discretion and allow maybe a short adjournment for Mr. Domleo to go through the videos with his clients.
I think that we need to do that, Kaneetz, because you know, this is obviously quite a large chunk of evidence that's been provided, and you know, it's contradictory to what's being said. So we have a right to be able to determine what we think about that, and I think the only way is for them to give you the right to view them and then come back and comment upon them.
Of course.
Yeah. So right, but what should we say? Is 15 minutes long enough, Kaneetz, do you think?
I think so. I think that's more than enough.
Is that all right with you, George?
Yeah, thank you, Chair. Yeah, I think what I understand Rita sent them, and apologies from this end. I think what's happened is I was on paternity leave on those dates and my colleagues got them and not sent them to me. So
congratulations.
Thank you, Chair. So yeah, so that's probably why I was looking at you with a blank gaze. It wasn't because I've not had any sleep for about 24 hours. It was it's because I don't know what the videos are. So yeah, so that's the reasoning. So I appreciate the short adjournment.
Can I just check you have all 6 videos with you?
Oh, I'm going to send them now. Sorry, I haven't sent the email, so I'm going to send them now. Just be aware, George, that you're not on this meeting when you're viewing them because it may start recording the video and the volume that comes through. Okay.
That's fine. I'll leave, and then Josh and Manira will leave.
Yeah, if you leave the meeting, I'm going to send you the emails now. If you just let me know a confirm that you get 4 emails from me in the next couple of minutes, okay?
Can
Thank you.
I ask my members
Sorry,
if you
before you leave-
remain in the meeting? Yeah.
Sorry, before you leave, it's now 3:44, Chair. So if the applicant and their representative, if they could get back at the latest by 4 p.m, that's 16 minutes.
Yeah.
Will do. Thank you.
Okay.
Right.
Thank you.
Right.
So I suppose we mute and turn off our cameras until we reconvene.
I
Yes,
presume
Councillor,
so.
that's what I'm doing here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
you're
sensible.
muting our cameras, or we mute our own cameras?
No,
turn off
Councillor,
your
mute your
cameras.
own camera and mic. Thank you.
Right.
Good afternoon. Is that Mr. Siddiqui just joined us? This is Bill, the clerk.
This is Mrs. Leakey. Sorry.
Oh, hello. Hello. They're just having a short adjournment because the applicants haven't seen Mr. Siddiqui's video. So they're just watching that and they'll be reconvening at 4 p.m.
Oh, okay. I'll be back then.
All right.
Thank
Sorry
you so
about
much.
this. You timed
Okay.
that just as they disappeared.
Okay, thank you.
We'll
Okay.
see you again about 4.
Okay.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Siddiqui.
Okay, thank you.
Good afternoon, Mr. Siddiqui. This is Bill, the clerk. We're having a short break at the moment as the applicants haven't actually seen the video that you sent in. So the chair has called an adjournment for just 10-15 minutes while they watch it. So we'll be resuming the meeting at 4 p.m. Sorry, you've timed that. You've joined us just as we've taken a break, but we will be back in around 10 minutes' time.
Bill, are you there? It's Rita.
I am. Hello, Rita.
I've sent the emails from my end. I think they're just taking a bit longer to go through his end in case
Okay.
George messages you or anything. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, right, Mr. Siddiqui, I'm assuming you just heard that, so we're going to have a little bit of a delay by the sound of it, but hopefully not too long, and we can resume the meeting shortly after 4 p.m.
All right. Yeah, I was in an exam, so I came late a bit. So I don't think I've missed much.
Amazingly, considering that you're well over an hour after the start, no, because we've taken this break. You have missed the presentation of the applicant's case, but you haven't missed your opportunity to speak.
All right.
So
Thank
if you don't mind waiting until they're back, there'll be more questions for the applicant, and then it will be your opportunity to speak.
All right. Thanks.
Sorry, everyone. Councillor, it's Rita. The emails are coming back undeliverable, so I'm still trying to send a couple. So just bear with me. They're bouncing back from the email address.
Okay, all right.
Rita, are you sending them one at a time? It's Kenese.
Yeah, you're muted, Rita.
Sorry,
Yes,
Kenese, I'm going to do them separately now. He can't see.
Yeah, I think best to send
all
one
of
at
them,
a
yeah.
time. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to do them separately now.
Yeah, one at
Thanks.
a time.
Yeah,
Yeah,
thanks.
brilliant.
Hello?
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Councillor Foote, you might want
Yeah,
to put
not till
yourself on
7
mute.
o'clock, 7:30. No, well, we will, don't worry, I'll manage that.
Hello, Chair. Bang on time.
Were you able to view the files?
All we've seemed to received are two. Rita's just emailed now. Sorry.
Like, I think we've been struggling to send the files to you, so you may need a little bit more time.
Sorry, George, you may need a bit longer. I'm trying to resend them all individually because they're bouncing back from my inbox.
Thank you. I think that's what happened on the 16th of August, because we had an email from you, Rita, titled first email with a couple of videos.
Yeah.
But then we didn't. That's all we had. So when you're referring to a fight, Chair, and that I was looking at you.
I'm
quite
trying to
frankly.
locate that one and send it to you.
Okay, thank you. Oh, is that another adjournment then, Chair and Kenny's?
Yeah. If you continue, I think. Let's see how we go anyway. So you've seen one, did you say?
Yeah, there was we've seen two videos. One's from I believe Mr. Sneaky's property overlooking the beer garden.
Yeah.
There's no time or date stamp, so I don't know what the time.
No, I recognise that.
Yeah, but it's still light outside, so it must.
I don't know. So we've seen those two. There's one kind of close up to a wall, and then there's one from the kitchen window. It looks like the window's open, and that one. So they're the only two videos I've seen so far, Chair.
Right. Okay.
But I can see, Rita, you're sending them through to me now. So
I am trying to send them. I don't know if they're coming through.
Thank you. Yes, they're coming through now. So
okay, well, we'll give a few more minutes and let you look at them.
No problem. Thank you. Rita, just to let you know, I've still not received any further videos apart from those two which you've sent originally. And Chair, at this point, I appreciate you'll have to seek advice from Inez on this. But if these videos are going to be, or if these videos are going to be considered in your decision, I would respectfully request that we need longer than a few minutes to review them.
Right, George, I sent you the one that the councillors are talking about. Hopefully that will come through. But I've sent you at least 6 different emails now.
Thank you, Rita.
Sorry, I don't know if they're blocking them from your server or what.
Rita, it's Kenny. Is it possible to separately for you to send them to Mr. Domleo via Teams, similar to how Councillor Giles had suggested earlier? So not to share it via this
Via
room.
email.
I
No,
don't know how to do it to him separately.
That's right, via Teams. I think you'll require Mr. Domleo's email address to create a chat via Teams, and then through that chat to send it as an attachment. That might be quicker.
I'm not very good with IT, so.
Rita, just to let you know, another email's come through.
Okay, have a look at that one.
Video, so it's just downloading.
Yeah, sorry, hang on, I'm on a video call at the moment, but yeah, do you have to deal with it quickly?
So Rita, I've now got a video of not customers. Sorry, I don't know who they are. Just people congregating outside Dreams, is it?
Yeah, that's the one the councillor was referring to.
Right. So now I've now got that.
Okay, and then I just sent you another one. Has that come through yet?
There's another video come through. Yeah. So is
Yeah.
that 4? It's meant
That's
to be
4.
6.
Oh, okay. All right. I did send them, so.
When did you send them?
Earlier today, just now.
Oh, okay.
Is your client receiving them as well?
I'm just going to forward them to them now.
Oh, sorry. Okay,
Sorry.
I didn't know if we were sending them to both
That's
of you.
all right.
No, I'm not.
No, okay, all right.
Another email's gone through, so hopefully that's it. Right, George, you should have had all of them now.
Thanks, Rita. Are there 6 in total?
Yes. So
Yeah, I've got.
if you click on them, the numbers should be 407, 507, 600.
Hold on, bear with me. Sorry.
Sorry.
That's all right.
So the last 3 digits on, you know, the videos, when you look at them, there should be 407, 507,
407, 507. Yes, got them.
600. And then 941 and 317.
941.
317.
317.
And 600 was the other one.
Yes. Yes, I've got them all now.
Okay,
Thank you, Rita.
no problems.
I don't know what you want to do, Chair, because I need to take my client's instructions on these videos, and this is the first we've received of them at this point, and I appreciate you're going to take them into consideration with your decision.
Well, this is my difficulty. If you haven't seen them, you know, it's very, you know, I'm posing difficulty, but it was presented as evidence and circulated, which gives me a problem.
No, I appreciate that, Chair. All I would say in response is it was circulated as evidence to you prior to the hearing. These 4 videos were circulated to myself in the last 20 minutes.
I'm assuming, sorry, I assumed
can
they
I
were done
correct
before
that?
that.
They were circulated to your colleague when they first came in.
Rita, we have no record of receiving that of these emails.
I keep all my bounce back emails when things like that has happened, and there's no email to say they came back. I definitely sent them on the 16th of August to Nikki Rennie.
I think, sorry, Chair, this is Kenise. I think to ensure that we quickly move forward with this meeting, you've already granted a short adjournment. A further short adjournment is better, because otherwise we'll be wasting time in arguing over this point. So it's over to you, Chair. If you grant an additional maybe 10 minutes or so. I'm not sure how long the remaining videos are. At least you'd be able to watch those videos and take instructions from your client straight away, I'm assuming.
Kenise, I need longer than 10 minutes to go through 4 videos, and if there's ones where the committee think there's fights between customers, and I've only just received these. I'm not disputing Rita sent them, but they've not been delivered to my colleague's inbox at this end. I need longer than 10 minutes, please.
Are we suggesting that we're adjourning this?
Chair.
Are we suggesting that we're adjourning this meeting to another time?
That would be my suggestion, Chair, if possible, please.
How do you feel about that, Kenise?
I'd need to check the rules with regards to how much of an adjournment you can grant today. It's also a question of how quickly the panel can resume again, and I assume it's got to be the availability of the same panel members as well. Let me just quickly check, Chair.
Right, is any of our panel members disappearing on holiday or being excavated to fight in wars overseas or something?
Councillor Foote, I think it's probably a little bit more mundane than that kind of thing. It's just logistics of work schedules and everything else. You know, I am quite happy to. I'm just very conscious that we have an agenda, that we have things that we need to do. We have a full borough council meeting this evening, George. Yeah. Just for transparency. So I'm just very conscious that we're on a time schedule. Do you feel that we're going to have enough time to fully deliberate once we've also heard the objector, provided they're going to come back again as well? So do you think we've got enough time to deal with the matters at hand if we postpone for 15-20 minutes, or again, it depends on what the rules can allow for as well, seeing as 10 minutes isn't long enough?
Chair, I am looking at the rules. Just bear with me whilst,
Yeah,
and in the
I'm gonna say
meantime,
I need
perhaps
some guidance from
Mr.
you, Kenise.
Dunleo could. Sorry, Chair.
I said I need some guidance from you, Kenise.
Yes, yes, I'm looking into this. Perhaps in the meantime, Mr. Domleo and his clients could carry on looking at the videos so that we're not on hold pending this.
No.
Just bear with me.
Of course, Clears. I'm in the process of sending them through to Josh and Manira as we speak.
Sure.
Guys, just for the sake of clarity, continuity, we're receiving them as they come through from George, and we've viewed 4 of them so far.
Move or just view.
Chair, it's Kenise.
Yes,
Will it be possible for you to join myself and the two panel members in the other room, please?
Yes, I would think so.
Separately from this room. So if we put.
Are you
this
all
room-
right with that? Where am I? I'm trying to make sure who's on. Gabriella, you okay with that?
Yeah, I'm here. I've been putting chat. I've been typing into the other chat group just to see if we can move this ahead a bit. But I'll meet you there in a bit.
Yes, and
Okay.
if Rita could give us some dates for of availability, if you have that to hand, Rita.
Yeah, I'm just providing mine in the chat as well. So
Lovely. Thank you. I'll see you both
Okay,
at the
right.
other
Let's
room.
get back to the other room. Have we got everybody present?
Yes.
I believe so, Chair. We've got the members. Yep, I can see Kenny's.
What about Josh and the
Yeah, they're
and
still in the
George?
meeting.
They're with
We're
us.
here, Chair.
Okay.
George is still in the meeting.
Yeah,
Right. And Mr. and Mrs. Siddiqui?
They're still visible with muted microphones.
Right, okay, right, okay. So we're all here. Right, I'm going to hand over to you, Kenny. I think you've got all the dates.
Thank you, Chair. So the panel has decided to adjourn today's hearing, taking into these circumstances, namely with regards to the circulating of these videos. The next adjourned hearing date is on the 27th of September, which is a Tuesday. That's next Tuesday at 2:30 p.m. It will be before the same panel members, and it will be a virtual hearing. So you will be sent a notification of that adjourned hearing in the same way as you were sent notification of today's hearing. Just as a point with regards to the videos, to Mr. Domleo, if you could kindly please confirm receipt of all the videos to our licensing officer, Rita Pankania. All right, thank you, Chair.
Chair, we have Mr. Siddiqui's hand up and then Mr. Domleo's hand up.
Am I allowed to speak?
This is Mr. Siddiqui, Chair.
Yeah, Mr. Siddiqui. Yeah, can all the members hear me?
That's Mrs. Siddiqui, it sounds like.
No, I think that's Mr. Siddiqui, Chair.
Sometimes I'm sorry for that.
This is Mr. Siddiqui, Chair.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, Mr. Siddiqui. Yeah. Yeah, I just wanted to ask that when it's been adjourned, so are we allowed to submit more applications and more videos with the timestamps and all that discrepancy?
No more. No, we've got the evidence that's been circulated, and now we want to get the time to view that and then review it and then go on from there. But to add more onto it will only make things more complicated.
And Chair, it's Kenise.
But if there are any
Mr. Arslan?
violations during that period,
Mr. Siddiqui.
how can that be brought to the panel?
I'm not sorry. Yeah, go on,
Sorry,
Kenise.
Chair. Mr. Siddiqui, I'm Kenise. I'm the legal advisor to the panel. You've had the opportunity to submit all your representations, including videos and details of those videos previously. You're not allowed to introduce or submit any additional evidence in support of that. If there is anything you want to clarify with regards to what you have submitted, you will have the opportunity to do so at next week's hearing, but nothing new can be submitted by way of evidence. It's too late. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, thank you, Kenise. Right, Mr. Domeo.
To add
But my only concern was that if there are any violations during this period,
That doesn't matter.
how can we brought that to the panel?
No. That's absolute no. We're dealing with evidence that's been presented so far. You cannot introduce new evidence of something that's not even happened at the moment. So the answer is no. Okay, Mr. Domeo.
All right.
Thank you, Chair. To add a spanner into the work, I have another hearing next Tuesday, 27th.
No.
Is there any chance it could? I'll be honest. The hearing is at I think 10:30. We should be done, but is there any chance it could be pushed back to 3:30? Say, is there any chance at all? Or I'm trying to accommodate yourselves.
I'm okay. I mean, if it's like that, I would suggest that maybe 4 o'clock. How do you feel, Gabriella?
I appreciate it's an inconvenience for everybody.
It's fine.
Yeah.
Works easier for me.
Medea?
Actually.
Would 4 o'clock be all right with you?
That's absolutely fine, Chair.
Yeah. So would 4 o'clock be okay if we accommodate you in that way, Mr. Demir?
that would be absolutely great, councillors. Really appreciate it. Thank you.
And where's my legal advisor? You're not going up to visit Liverpool or anything in the afternoon?
No, Chair, no, I'm around, so it's perfectly fine with me too. Thank you.
So 4 o'clock sounds okay for you as well.
Yeah,
Sorry to be a
thanks.
pain.
I'm available. Thank you.
And about,
Rita, I was going to say, Rita, are you
Yeah, no,
available?
I'm good for 4 o'clock. That's fine.
I was going to say we got our
Thank you.
officers. Yeah. Okay. So that is where we're at then. So we adjourn this meeting now till 4 o'clock next Tuesday. And we'll see you all then at the same
Thanks,
place,
everybody.
same time.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye
Bye,
bye.
everyone.
Thank you, everybody.
Cheers,
Thank
bye.
you.
All right. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.